So today we're going to do these twice baked potatoes using leftover potatoes. Don't throw your potatoes away. They're going to look a little loose because they've been frozen, right? And if you can buy frozen potatoes, you can freeze your potatoes. And the reason why they're going to look like that is because, you know, potatoes can get liquid in them, right? So what we want to do is add hash browns to these potatoes. What is it going to do? It's going to give texture and it's going to thicken these potatoes up, right? This is in the freezer department. So you can go to the freezer department and get your hash browns. You don't have to go through all that shredding up stuff. If you want to, that's your business, all right? All right? So when you fold this in, it's going to give these potatoes texture, right? So the next step we're going to add us some cheese in here. We're going to use some cheddar and Velveeta. Well, you know, whatever flavors of cheese that you want. If you're not a Velveeta person, you don't have to use Velveeta. So when we added the hash browns, it thickened the potatoes right back up. Now what we're going to add is the Velveeta cheese. If you don't want Velveeta, you don't have to use Velveeta. I'm going to use cheddar cheese, anybody's brand. Just make sure that it's not imitation cheese, because imitation cheese don't do nothing but produce oil. So you want to make sure that the cheese is not imitation cheese. All right? And most of the time when it is, they'll put it on there, right? They'll let you know. So you're going to load these up. Now, like I say, you can add whatever cheeses that you think that you want. You can add more butter. You can do whatever you want to, you know, to make your meal be successful. These potatoes, they don't really take a lot because you already have used them once before. So now they're finna be baked, twice baked, okay? And you can taste it. I always add me a little more pepper to what I'm doing, but that's what we're gonna do. So we added a little butter, we added the cheddar, we added the pepper, just a little dash of salt. And that's what we're working with. Now we're ready to put these in a container, in the oven, a baking dish, a casserole dish. It's time for us to put it on 350 in the oven. And it's going to cook. They're already done. So they're really going to cook a good 30, 35 minutes till you get that perfect crunch on top. That's what we're going to do. Perfect crunch on top. So with the sprayed casserole dish, we're going to go ahead and apply our potatoes. And you know what I tell people? You can look and see what size dish you need to use based on how you want to serve these. I really hate when people serve stuff so thin and you can't really get the consistency. Don't you hate that too? I do too. I feel like, why would I use something to thin these out so thin? When you scoop them, you just getting a crust on the bottom. So mine is it's the perfect size, because no liquid is going to come out, right? No liquid is going to come out. And I'm going to top this on top with some cheese, and I'm going to put this in the oven on 350, and I'm going to let it bake about 35 minutes. When I check it in 35 minutes, if it's not to my liking, it's going to stay in there until it is. All right, so we're going to set the first timer for 35 minutes. We'll see what we come up with. You don't have to go heavy on the top cheese. You just really want to coat the top. You're just going to coat it, right? And this, if you do it this way, the potatoes will have an opportunity to get that nice crunch going all the way around the base of it. All right? All around the base. So let's see how they turn out in a minute, okay? In 35 minutes. Might be 40. We'll see. So now we're going to do this garlic bread, and I use 5 cheese garlic bread. We're going to butter the top, and we're going to butter the bottom. Now I just take mine, and I got a big old thing of butter over there. I butter mine, and I flip that over. Which you could really butter that last. You know, sometimes I do stuff crazy, but that's okay. And I get it in there real good on the bottom. Some people don't butter around the bottom and the sides of their bread, but you really should. Then I take and add me butter on the inside like that. Just like that. Don't nobody want no dry bread. And I'm telling you, this is so good. Just do this, okay? Now I'm going to go over here and wash my hands. Get a paper towel. I like get a paper towel. Then you can add whatever kind of cheese you want. Spread that butter in there. See, if you keep that butter the right temperature, you can spread it. Spread that butter. Add you some cheddar cheese. Just like that. Add you a combination of Colby, Monterey, his Mexican, whatever cheese you want. The real, get the fine shredded stuff though. It works better, right? You pat that in there. Then I'm gonna add me just a little Velveeta. Let me get my knife. I'm gonna add my little Velveeta. You don't gotta go crazy, but this is stuff. This is my husband's stuff. He really like. You might say, well, you got cheese in your taters. You do. You do. And you don't have to add this if you don't want it. But if you're a person that like cheese and if you cooking for what somebody else wants, it don't really matter. Because you don't have to eat this. You know, you can eat the other stuff that we're going to have. Take that bread and put it on top of there. Like that. Then I like to take and sprinkle me just a dusting. Just like that. Go around the edge. You know, the stuff that fell off the first time, get it. Pick it up. Put it on there. Press it down. Look good already. Wrap it. Just like that. Now I'm going to show you what I did. This is a little short. So the top of this, I'm going to take another little tiny piece of foil because I cut it a little short so I don't pull the cheese off the top. And I'm going to put another one and lay it on that. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's going to cook right along with the potatoes. I'm just going to lay it like this just to seal that moisture in so this can melt. You don't want to put this in uncovered because it'll get hard. So you want to cook the bread covered. All right? So we're going to put it in the oven. Okay, so now that we got the bread in the oven, we're going to do the steaks. This big steak right here, if you was in a restaurant, you probably paid $60 for it. I paid $22 for it. That is your T-bone, my husband's favorite. These right here, good for tacos, and if you were making you some little different little things, these are New York strips. And this is just for me and my daughter. We love that little fat on there. She's 13, so we got some thin little ribeyes. Enough for us, right? Enough for us. So now what we're going to do is season these babies. So what I'm going to start off with, I'm going to use my own seasoning, my Everything Green seasoning, right? I'm going to dust these things up real good. And then I'm going to flip them and do the other side because what? It don't come seasoned, so you got to make sure you got seasoning on both sides, right? I'm going to flip this over just like that. And while I'm cutting up the onions and stuff, we're going to let this marinate a little bit. I love to have my meat marinate. You know, it's where I'm at right now. You might see my lights flicker a little bit because it's raining and it's, you know, got that little dry little stuff going on. So over here, I'm going to put my little Dale marinade on here. I love Dale marinade, and it's good for red meat. I'm going to tell y'all something about when you cook with red meat, which is steak, you have to use some base of a marinade that has salt. So red meat loves salt. All right. Then I'm going to use me just a little house Italian. And all right, this is going to go real well in here. And I'm going to let this stuff do what it do. And I'm going to tell you another one I like to use when I'm marinating this for a little bit. I love to use balsamic vinegar on roast beef. And I love to use it on my beef because it has a vinegar base in it. And vinegar helps as what? Yeah, it's going to eventually what? Soften it, right? You know how when you cooking deer meat and stuff and you got to soak it in a little buttermilk to help get the wild out? Well, you want that vinegar to what? Texturize this and make it a little tender, right? So all of this is, it doesn't have to marinate 24 hours, right? You do what you're going to do while you're doing your other stuff. You let this kind of just get in there real good. And I'm going to press out a little pepper. And like I said, that Dale had the salt in it. The Dale had that salt in there. And I'll add me just a little squishy, excuse me, a little squishy bit. Because if you don't, let me tell you something, you have to season. Anybody grew up eating a lot of beef or around places like that, or cattle. My granddaddy and my daddy and them used to kill. Well, you know, you have to do that to have the beef. Hang it up on those hooks and cut it off, and then they would salt our meat down real good, and then they would take and cover it up and do something after they salted it so that it would do something, and then they would wrap it in this gall, and they would put it in they would put it in the storehouse, right, in the shed. And then the smokehouse is what they called it. So once it's marinated a little bit, we're going to come back to do the next part.